OSLinux1. So I recently made a video, but apparently it didn't record. I'm not 100% sure why it didn't. But it was a pretty it wasn't real lengthy, but it covered a number of topics. But I talked about installing Debian 12. You can go to debian.org, and it has an installation guide. I talked about the Debian Administrator's Handbook. You can get off Amazon. It's really good for explaining to you the layout of the structure of the operating system of Debian. If you want to learn it, it's there. I recommend it. It's a very good book. They have a older. This one was published in 2020. There was a Kindle version that's 2015. They're very similar. This one's just more up to date. But it's only paperback form as of now. But it's a very good book. I recommend it. Another book I also would recommend to consider is the Linux Command Line, 2nd edition, A Complete Introduction. This helps you learn the command line. That's pretty good for that. And another book, well, this one I'm looking into. I haven't looked into this one yet. I have several books. Actually, let me just go down here. This one I'm looking at, I can't speak on, but here we go. If you want to learn about computers, this is one of the books I recommend. It gives you entry-level beginner about computers. If you want to learn about it, I know it says an exam, but it's very entry-level, and it builds upon that. And I have it, so I've read it. Not the whole thing. I'm still in the process of reading it, but it presents it to you. Basically, if you don't know anything about computers, and so I like it for that. There's another one that's very similar to that. You can look at it. It's IT Fundamentals. I know it says an exam. It does progress. These books do progress to entry level to, you have a good understanding of information technology, computers, networking, operating systems. It just kind of progresses and builds upon it throughout the book. Now, this book here, it's if you get the book, it's going to be a thick one, because it's 1,400 pages, over 1,400 pages, almost 1,500 pages. But it's recommended. You can take practice exams and watch videos. But if you wanted to learn about, have a good layout, clear picture of IT, I'd recommend the IT Fundamentals, A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, CompTIA. There's also another study guide that I recommend. I don't have it, but I'm going to get it because it interests me in how it's laid out. Anyways, I don't know why I did that. It's study guide. Oops. So I'm just trying to make this brief. So these this book is one that really interests me. It's you can see here, it's published says a Wiley brand, and if you've watched my other videos, you've heard me talk about Wiley, but Cybex. But anyways, I looked at table of contents. I like the table of contents and how it's laid out. It appeals to me. It's got good reviews, so I want to get it and read it and see if the way it presents the content, if it explains the information uh, and communicates that information well with the reader to the point that it educates them and endows them with the knowledge and they retain it. Not all books do this. While this book is, I recommend the Linux command line, and I've not read it all the way through. It does seem to, it seems to start out doing good, but then it kind of, it doesn't break stuff down enough for a person just learning it. I've come across quite a few people, that just don't know a lot about computers, and for someone like that, there's a lot more information they need along the way before you start using a lot of technical terminology, but so and if you're going for Linux, you need a book that's going to teach you the command line. And this was one I looked at, recommended, a lot of reviews, 4.5 stars, 1,800 reviews. And I'll give you more feedback on this later. But then, like I mentioned here, there's another one I want to look into. This one's Linux Plus by CompTIA, published by McGraw-Hill. But I'm going to look at this one too. Text error with like shell, management shares, permissions. It's something I would like to have in my library, so I want to have it. A lot of these CompTIA books you can use for references or study guides, and you can use them, and you should, as long as you get good at read and study it properly, you should be able to pass these exams. They get high review ratings, and I have the A+ one, so I can tell you from experience, it is very entry level, starting out, and I believe it was designed that way to educate someone who doesn't really know anything about computers, and it just progresses from there. And that's kind of what I've been looking for in some of these books. Not necessarily about IT in general, but just whether it's Linux operating systems or like the command line, or even this book up here, the Debian Administrator's Handbook. I like this book for Debian, Debian Stable. It's really the Linux distribution that I recommend if you're wanting to learn Linux. This book will lay it out for you. It's not overly simplified. It does present the content for an administrator, for administrator controls, for how the operating system and file system is structured. I know it sounds a little techy, but it will educate you and inform you on how it's laid out and things like that. So I like this book. Again, this one's from 2020. It's 541 pages. The Kindle edition that I have is 2015. It's like 800 and some. Even though it's older and this is 2024 now, it's still very relevant. But this handbook, even though it's substantially more expensive, the Kindle was like $9.99. And one of the reasons I got it was because it was cheaper, and I wanted to see whether it was laid out good, and it is. And so $50, it's up to you. I'm considering getting it, and I already have the Kindle edition, so it's not necessarily a top priority right now. There's a lot of other books I'm looking at. $50 is pretty bit, but if you don't have one at all, this one's probably going to be good if you want to learn from an administrator's uh, perspective on the operating system. It basically goes over everything, and you can use it as a reference. You don't necessarily have to read all that thing all the way through, but it's pretty good for that. But yeah, so, and you can go to Debian's website, Debian.org, and you can download it. It'll walk you through the installation. The Administrator's Handbook also does the same thing. It'll explain to you in the book how to download it, but it's also available for free, the information here. So, but if you want a more simpler, this isn't really complicated, but there's Linux Mint and Ubuntu. You can explore with them. They have a graphical user interface. Basically, that's something like this, and you can, explore those, and they're very simple to install. They're probably the simplest to install of the Linux distributions, but none of them's really that complicated, and it's very similar. You have your something like this where you have your settings, office, graphics, games, all this software that comes with it, multimedia, stuff, but you can, customize your desktop. But anyways, you can look into that. I want to cover on these things. And my experience in messing with Linux Mint, which was proved to be solid. I didn't really have any issues as far as stability or crashes. Ubuntu, I used it a little bit, not too much. I didn't use it enough to give a good feedback on whether it's stable or not. But some people say they have issues with it, but I think it's okay. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, companies like Dell and Lenovo will ship some of their laptops or some of their desktops even with Ubuntu as an operating system option. Usually it's always Windows, but you can choose for Ubuntu Linux as an option. But I just want to kind of go over some entry-level basic stuff for someone interested and new. I believe it's good advice to kind of look into this A+, because of just how it presents the content to someone who wants to learn more about computers. It kind of goes over the fundamental basics, and then it progresses. And like if you take the A+, or if you read the A+ and study that, and even take the exam, then you can go to Network Plus and then Security Plus. And there's other ones that they offer too. And if the books are laid out and the content's laid out comparable or similar, and I'll let you know on this study guide up here. I'm gonna get it too later, Lord willing, and I'll let you know if I think if this one's better, or if the other one's better, or if they're about the same, or if the same stuff. I'll let you know. But they both have good reviews, and I'll give you feedback on which one I think is better for someone just starting out and learning. I think it's these books are good for that. So I'll get back to you next time on some more advanced stuff. But there's other more advanced stuff. But you want a good foundation to build upon, and this is kind of where I recommend it. There's plenty of good books out there. We could go to stuff more advanced like ethical hacking, pen testing. They even offer a certified ethical hacker exam. So, you know, some of these books, like this one here, Hands-On Introduction to Breaking In, I don't know. But this one I believe would be good. This publisher puts some pretty good books out. Grey Hat Hacking, 6th edition. This one's supposed to be pretty good. 111 reviews, 5 stars for that. The Pens Tester, Blueprint. This one kind of explains to you what ethical hacking is and kind of gives you, like it says, a blueprint for starting a career. That's what I take from it, but it's a really good book. I like it. Let's see what else. Again, I'm not some criminal. I'm more on the opposite side. I have this book, Hands-On Hacking. Haven't read a lot into it yet. But I've been reading. It's published by Wiley. There's a lot more involved in, and here's another study guide for this. Practice tests, 750 practice. So I'm gonna look into these books too. I'll let you know. But so far, and here's even a book with Wireshark. I don't know anything about that one. This book, it doesn't even have no reviews. But again, just do some research. Take your time. Don't start buying all kinds of books, because there's plenty of books out there. And while I'm thinking of it, there's another book that's highly recommended. I don't have, but I want to mention. I just now got reminded of it. It's supposed to be a good one. It's this one here. Efficient Linux at the command line. This one boosts your command line skills. This one is not really for the beginner. You need to get a fundamental basics understanding of the command line and get proficient in that, and then read this one. It's 5 stars. I can't endorse it or say, hey, you should get this one. I've read this one. I haven't read this one. Okay, but it's one on my list, so I'm gonna check this one out too, and I'll let you know, Lord willing. I'll let you know, and so I think that's going to cover it for this episode. I just want to touch on some more topics of books that I recommend and that I've come across, some that I've read, some that I have, some I'm just starting to read. Really kind of starting to read a lot of them, but one of the things I noticed with some of the books is it depends what you. I know, like if I was trying to explain some of the stuff I know and I've read, just by the people I've spoken with that don't know much about computers, I ain't giving this book to them for them to learn how to do it, even if it's supposed to be for beginners. Doesn't always explain enough. It doesn't, because there's a lot of, common questions that people have, because it doesn't explain to you what it is itself. But it's not self-explanatory. But so trying to find books that kind of simplify it and break it down and give you a good foundation so you can progress, because some of these things build upon a good foundation, and you need that insight and understand what those things are so you can move forward. But all these books don't do that. some books give you the courtesy of, you know, prerequisites, what you should know before reading this book, you know, and then you can progress from there. But not all the books do that. But like this one, I'm pretty sure it will be kind of self-explanatory. Take your Linux skills to the next level. But a lot of good reviews. A lot of people like this book. It's not a lot of reviews, like 500, but you know, it's quality, 5 stars. But this is a book you would read after you get a good footing on the basics. And I've kind of laid out some books already that you know, with Debian being what the distribution you're learning, with administrators handbook guide, and whether it's the command line, learning the command line, or even the maybe this CompTIA Linux Plus certification book. I don't know. It doesn't seem very simplified, but it depends on how it's laid out. I have to start reading it to say, okay, this one I can recommend for someone who's just starting out. But I'll kind of leave it there. And if you like the content, if you want to see other content, let me know. Any constructive criticism, good or bad comments, you're welcome to make them. If you like the video, click the like. But I'll try to get onto some of these like pen testing examples and what that looks like, you know. And so I'll get back to you here next time on OSLinux1.